Now, good evening, everybody. This is Bobby Harvey. We are live in downtown Ottumwa, Iowa, waiting to see some trains here tonight along BNSF's Ottumwa Subdivision and perhaps the CPKC as well. It's a very nice evening. Partly cloudy skies. The temperatures are a lot better than they have been the past few days, hovering in the mid to upper 80s. Little breeze, it's not too bad. So thank you everybody for watching, and for those of you just tuning in or maybe getting the notifications, welcome to the stream. James is here with us from Hamilton, Ohio. He's a regular viewer of these live streams. Welcome. Dakota Plays 3 says, hey Bobby, hope to see you next week. Well, what he's referring to here is what we're going to be probably discussing here as we go through the live stream. The big news for next week, of course, as most of you probably know, most of you who are subscribed to my channel or follow me, is that next week is the Old Threshers reunion in Mount Pleasant. And I am expected to be there all 5 days this year. So if you're out and about and you're near Mount Pleasant, check out the Midwest Old Threshers reunion, and you'll probably see me out filming the trains and the trolleys at Old Threshers. It's always something that I really look forward to every year. So we'll be talking a little more about that and maybe some of the kind of the logistical plans for that as far as videos go. I kind of floated the idea of maybe doing a couple of live streams from Old Threshers while I'm there. We'll see what happens there, if I decide to do it or not. So what we're going to do tonight, we're just going to see what we can see for the next couple of hours. Amtrak is on its way, but they're running about, they were running about 45 minutes late out of Galesburg. I think they've made up a little time. I think they're getting around Burlington now, maybe past Burlington by now. So we can expect them to come in here probably around 7:30, hopefully, if they don't lose any more time. There's also another train on our radar tonight. A westbound coal train went through Mount Pleasant at about 5:23. So it usually takes freight trains, about an hour to get from Mount Pleasant to here. So we'll be expecting that train momentarily, probably within the next 10-15 minutes or so, if they didn't run into anything else along the way. So that's what we're doing right now. We're kind of standing out here waiting for that train to show up, and then we'll go from there. Obviously, Amtrak will be on its way later. Maybe we'll see some other trains in between then and now, including the westbound train that is on its way. Probably should turn on my scanner, see what's going on. Kind of forgot to do that. Hopefully we haven't missed any good information. So where we are right now, this is kind of a different location than I've featured in the live streams in the past. This is on the east side of the McLean Street grade crossing. Kind of pan the camera down here so you can see kind of where we are relative to more familiar things that you guys are more familiar with. The McLean Street crossing is right there, and then further west from there is the Market Street grade crossing, and then further west from that is the Ottumwa Amtrak station. And speaking of that, they have done a lot more work on the station platform since we were there last. Pretty much that whole section that we've been watching them work on is done, from what I can tell, just from driving by there over the past several weeks. I don't know where we'll see Amtrak. I don't know if we'll go down to the station tonight or not and check it out. We might, depending on how much time we have. Or we might just see it out here. We'll see how it goes. We'll kind of play it by ear. But yeah, looking west, that is the McLean Street crossing, and you can see the River Hills headquarters there on the other side of the tracks. And farther down, we've got Market Street and the Amtrak station. And they're doing some kind of work over here. Usually there's not any clutter right here. It's just open. They're putting in some sort of, I don't know if it's like some sort of culvert along the dike here by the Des Moines River, which is right on the other side of this excavator that's next to us. Don't really know what they're doing, but they're doing a lot of work out there. So they're parking their construction vehicles along McLean Street here on the other side of the tracks from downtown. So for those of you just joining us, we are waiting on a westbound empty BNSF coal train that is on its way, and that's the only train that I know of for now before Amtrak. But there may be more. There may be some eastbounds that I don't know about, and there might be some trains on the CPKC. A-Train says he hears a westbound at Agency. That's probably the coal train that I was just talking about. Before I came out, like I always do, I checked the webcams that Steel Highway Rail Cams has on their YouTube channel. Those of you that don't know about it, check it out. They have a lot of good rail cams. 2 here in Ottumwa, 1 in Mount Pleasant, 1 west of Mount Pleasant, and there's a webcam in Washington, Iowa on the CPKC, and many other locations around the Midwest, including a very exciting rail cam in Chicago, which we might talk about that a little later. But yeah, so go ahead and subscribe to them if you don't. Steel Highway Rail Cams has a lot of really neat rail cams in the Midwest. And they're really helpful when you're trying to figure out where trains are. But anyways, like I always do before I start these live streams, I checked the rail cams to see what was going on. And on the CPKC, there's not much going on at all. I backed up the camera a couple hours, and there was a northbound coal train that went through Washington a few hours ago, and that's it. So probably no southbounds that we'll see in our stream, but maybe northbounds if there's any on the way or coming into the yard. Can't rule those out. And as far as the BNSF goes, I know of 1 westbound. A-Train just commented and said it's getting towards Agency now, so it'll be here within the next 10 minutes or so. There may be some more eastbounds too that we don't know about yet. So either way, we're going to get at least 2 trains in the stream tonight, maybe more. So we will wait and see what happens. So the last time I did one of these live streams, it was the end of July. Now it's the end of August. Didn't mean to go this long without doing one, but it's just the main reason I haven't done a live stream in over a month is because I've been working on some of my normal videos, which if you subscribe to my channel, you will see that I just recently put out a video I've been working on for about a month and a half, just full-time, video-wise. The Union Pacific video, Union Pacific in Iowa. Finally got it finished, and it's uploaded, ready to watch. So if any of you guys haven't seen it yet, go ahead and check it out. So Union Pacific in Iowa, big boy excursions of mainline freight trains. I just got it done about 2 weeks ago, and now I'm starting to work on the next video in line, which is the Iowa Interstate video, across the Iowa Interstate 3. That's what I'm working on now as far as my big videos go. Starting to edit the screenshots, still very early in the prep work for that video, but I am working on it. Obviously, I'm not going to get it done before Old Threshers, but probably within the month of September. And then obviously the Old Threshers video for this year will come after that. And I'm probably going to space out working on some of my bigger videos so I have time to work on some other projects as well. Not just video stuff, some other train related stuff. But and A-Train just commented the scene in Garden City, Iowa, where I was getting the big boy coming through, which is in my latest video, the Union Pacific and Iowa video that I was talking about. A-Train apparently was there too. He recognized me from across the tracks. Hard to believe that that was over 40 years ago now. And it's also hard to believe that as many years as I've been making videos, that is the first video that is pretty much exclusively all Union Pacific. I hadn't made one up until that point. I've had videos featuring Union Pacific trains, but they've never been the whole video. It's been, you know, part of a video or like half of a video. But this one that I just finished is the first video featuring all Union Pacific trains, with a few exceptions. I got a CP train crossing the UP in Clinton while we were waiting for the big boy. And there were a couple of detour trains that I got on the Union Pacific as well. But for the most part, it's an entire video featuring just UP trains, and that's the first one that I've ever done. Now, before this train gets here, we've got to pan over here and feature some of our fine feathered friends. And it sounds like we've got something going on there. Well, we might have a northbound CPKC train. Huh. I assume that train's just coming in.
Yeah, that's correct. Correct.
All right, I'll update you on what I just... So, sounds like there is a CPKC train on the way. At least they're coming into the yard. I don't know if they'll continue north from there, but we will see. It sounded like there was a Kansas City Southern locomotive on the front of it. From what I could hear, and I could only hear, let's see, Iowa Trains just commented, said there's a gray KCSM leader on 576 through Washington around 20 minutes ago. Huh. Well, that's a southbound train. I'm pretty sure, I think, that's an oil train. I'm pretty sure. The 500s are oil trains, if I remember correctly. CP renumbered their trains a little over a year ago, and I'm still trying to figure out all the new numberings. Okay, he just commented, said that is correct. So, well, the train I just heard was a northbound. We've got a southbound. If they were through there 20 minutes ago, we might see them within this stream. It takes, I mean, if the train is moving along, it'll take about an hour, hour and a half to get from Washington to here On a good day, it just takes an hour. Sometimes it could take a couple hours or more, depending on the traffic. Now, before they were talking on the radio, I'd pan the camera over there to show a picture of all the Canada geese that are coming through here. They're funny, and they're almost tame. When I set up the camera over here, there was a huge bunch of them goofing around the railroad tracks, and I guess they got camera shy. When I started talking, they all just kind of walked off. But they were just right next to me. There's a lot of them around here. They're funny. I like geese. So looking east from the Green Street crossing here, we are looking at the end of the Jefferson Street Viaduct, the north end of the Jefferson Street Viaduct, and you can see more of the actual bridge itself over the other side. But we're not going to look at it right now because our train is approaching. The westbound BNSF coal train. Here it comes. And A train said there's another westbound empty by Mount Pleasant at 5:49. So this may not be the train I'm thinking of. We'll see. Here it comes. Might be a busy night tonight. Now, as A train mentioned in the comments, something slightly unusual for that train was the presence of a Canadian Pacific locomotive. It's one of the DPUs on this train. It's not really rare, but it's fairly unusual to see CP engines on the BNSF through here. I've only seen it a handful of times in the past 10 years. Not totally rare, but it's pretty unusual. And it's also unusual for whatever reason to see Union Pacific engines on the BNSF through here. But it does happen from time to time. Southeast Iowa Rail fans, welcome. He says a CP unit has been back and forth on multiple BNSF coal trains in the last few weeks. Yep, probably once it gets on these trains and BNSF is either paying KC back for locomotive hours or whatever, and it just gets on a run, and it probably just goes back and forth for a while until they give the engine back to CP. KC. Still having issues saying CP KC sometimes. Still sounds kind of weird, but the CPKC has only been around for 4 months, so it's going to take a while to actually get used to saying CPKC. But there's our first train, westbound empty BNSF coal train, and that's the one that I saw on the webcam earlier that I was prepared to see. And A train said, another westbound empty by Mount Pleasant at 5:49. So that means, of course, that was maybe 30 minutes after the train that I just saw. So we probably have time to move to another location before it gets here. And we might do that. But if we do, we're gonna have to go pretty quick because we don't want to miss a train. And this will be them clearing up their warrant at the CPKC Diamond. Now, before we get going, I will mention another prominent building in our view here.
Ottumwa radio.
So we'll get to that once they finish clearing up their warrant here.
-20 displayed. West, reporting clear on track 1374-20 between CCP 1705 westbound control road crossing 1842 1842. Is that correct? All correct on release. Thank you. For now, the plan is hold the house and we'll get Amtrak around you, and then you follow them up there and you'll put some gas in your tanks up there at I guess Sheridan number. And I might be having some signal issues. Looks like I'm having a code brown up there at Albia. So if you guys get up there at Albia and I can't light you up, I'm going to have to talk you by and instruct you to take the switch on hand there at Albia. But we'll talk about that when you guys get up there and see what it's looking like. That's right.
Okay, as you just may have heard on the radio, they're already getting the freights lined up for Amtrak, which won't be very long. Amtrak will be here, probably within the next hour or so. So that train that we just saw is going to stop at Halpin, which is on the west side of Albia, and let Amtrak run around them there, and then they'll keep going. Probably this next westbound, they're probably going to stop at either Maxon or, well, I'm trying to think. They might stop it further east. I'm trying to think. They'll probably stop this one further up. A train just said 5 is leaving Mount Pleasant. Wow, they have certainly made up some time. Well, I suppose it's about, let's see, it's 6:44. Yeah, I guess they're about 45 minutes late, but they'll probably be able to make up a little time in between Mount Pleasant and here. Because for Amtrak, it only takes about, give or take, 30 minutes to get from Mount Pleasant to here. So we are going to go ahead and move to a new location for our next train. Anyways, another very prominent building in this shot is the Ottumwa High School, which is right in front of us there up on the hill. And this weekend, they're having some special festivities to honor the 100th anniversary of the opening of the Ottumwa High School. It's centennial. It opened in 1923. It's 100 years old. They're celebrating that right now, having some school building tours and a bunch of other stuff going on. Probably won't be able to make it to any of that stuff, but still kind of neat to acknowledge the building's 100th anniversary. So I usually work it into a lot of my shots down here. And yes, Dakota Plays 3 has also commented that there's something else that was completed in 1923, and that was Mount Pleasant, Midwest Central's very own West Side Lumber Company Shea number 9 is also turning 100 this year. But I don't think it's going to be running this year for Old Threshers, which is unfortunate, but I don't think they're able to get their boiler repairs done. I think they're still waiting on quotes for contractors to fix it, so we probably won't be seeing it this year running. Probably just be number 6 and 14 and D9. We'll talk a little more about Old Threshers as we move along tonight, but for now we are going to go ahead and raise the tripod, and we're going to get everything ready for our next train. I suppose if A train's still watching, he will let us know when that train hits agency. And as you saw from the last train, it does not take very long from agency to here for trains to get here. So go ahead and lower this. Apologies for the tripod movements right now as we head back to the car to go to our next spot. Brian's here. Welcome, Brian. What trains have we seen so far? Well, we have seen a westbound empty. We've got one more empty. I assume it's a coal train. I think it is. Coming within the next 20 minutes or so. And we've got some stuff going on the CPKC as well. So, all right. We're going to go ahead and get the camera back in the car, get it rolling, and we'll go to our next location for our next train. I've already set everything up so we can just snap it right in and be ready to go. All right. Mark's here from Washington, Iowa. Welcome, Mark. Turn on the car so we can give our phone some juice so we don't wear down the battery. All right, I'm gonna get the tripod in and we'll be on our way. All right, we are in the car. We are ready to depart our first photo location for our first train that we saw. We're going to head on through the town and head to our next photo spot, which I do not know what it's going to be yet. So we're just going to play that by ear. Really nice night. After all those days of really hot temperatures, it's nice to have a day where it's not as warm. You get a little relief. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing down here with all this work. A lot of pipes and stuff. Doing some sort of underground work. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and head down to the downtown here. We might lose the internet for a minute down here because I know that I think the buildings kind of affect our signal for whatever reason. So my apologies if that happens. This is Main Street. We're gonna be turning left on Main Street, going by the old Ottumwa Theater, which is on our right as we turn. Let's see, where should we go? Should we go to, trying to think. We go to McLean Street all the time. Might do something different today. Got Clay Street, haven't been down there in a while. Gateway Drive. Let's see, why don't we try Gateway Drive tonight? I don't know if I've actually gone down there for a live stream yet. As we're heading west on Main Street, we will see the turn here on Washington Street to the Amtrak depot, just to our left. Now, I don't remember, I looked at the schedule for all the centennial festivities for the Ottumwa High School, and they were doing a parade. I don't know if it was today or tomorrow. And it was starting here at the former O'Hara Hardware, which is on our left right now on the screen. Having a little parade from here down to the high school. I don't know if that happened today. Okay, Dakota Place said it was this morning. Wonder how big that was. Wonder how that went. Hopefully it was a decent turnout. Great weather, that's for sure. Oh, we've got another train, folks. We've got an eastbound coming towards us. Well, thankfully we're in a pretty decent spot to get it. Well, okay. We're gonna whip around here and we're gonna have a well, we're just gonna go to the crossing. We're gonna be first in line at the crossing. That's always nice. Perfect. Bonus train. Did not know this one was coming. Okay, that is train number 2. We have seen 2 trains already in the first 30 minutes of being on the air. So since I got that train at Gateway Drive, we'll go ahead and go down here and get our next train at McLean Street. I know we always go there, but it's just a really nice place to get westbound trains, especially in the evening. And that train should not be very far away. It should be approaching very soon. Then we've got Amtrak, and we've got potentially some CPKC action. I don't know if we'll get it before the stream ends or not, but yeah, so far it has been a very eventful evening. And this is McLean Street we're turning left onto now. And we're gonna go down and make a U-turn and come back into our little parking area that we always go to. And the westbound signal down at the Diamond has a clear. So we know that westbound is on its way. And here's Gateway Drive that we were starting to come down earlier before I saw that train coming. We whipped around. That's the nice thing about doing these live streams, is that if there's a train that comes up on you like that, you don't have to worry about getting ready because the camera's already rolling here in the car. All we have to do is just position ourselves at the crossing and let the train roll on through. I don't know how many times that's happened with my normal video camera, and you really have to make a mad dash to park somewhere and go out and film the train. You have very little time to get ready. And I've learned over the years to just keep the camera on the tripod, and if something like that happens, you just have time to whip out and just set it up. Don't even extend it or anything. Just get it out and start rolling. I've actually gotten quite a few really good pictures of trains that have come up on me really quick, and I've had very little time to react. And you have to get good at that. You have to get good at being able to keep your wits about you and be able to jump out and get a picture really fast. It's not easy when you're not used to doing it. There have actually been several trains in the past that I've missed because I haven't had a chance to get my camera out in time. You should always be ready when you're out filming trains, to be ready for a train at any time. All right, so our next westbound train, which A train just reported had 532 axles. That's most likely a coal train. That's our next train. And then after that, it's probably going to be Amtrak time. But we'll see. There's a lot of beeping and stuff going on the CPKC. All right. We'll go ahead and stop here for a moment and get the tripod set up, and then we'll be back to get the camera. Okie dokie, here we go. This is also a nice place to film trains now because you have a pretty interesting backdrop. Two old rail cars on the little segment of track here and the backside of Main Street Donuts. The owner of Main Street Donuts is a former railroad employee. He worked for the Milwaukee Road, and he owns all these old train cars that are out behind Main Street Donuts. And he's put up a little section of track, and just recently, within the past couple of months, he's put these cars that he's had out here on their trucks up on the track. I don't know if he plans on, there's another set of wheels there down there behind the caboose that you can see on the right. He has 2 other cabooses behind these cars. And I don't know if he's intending on laying more track and putting those cars next to him. That'd be neat. This old UP work car is really interesting. You can tell it almost looks like it used to be a box car that they made into a work car. Really interesting. And then the cabooses, they are all bay window cabooses. But he has 2 more behind the 2 cars that we can see in front of us. And speaking of Main Street Donuts and speaking of trains, the Steel Highway Rail Cam on BNSF in Ottumwa is actually positioned on the Main Street Donuts building that you can see behind the 2 cars right there. Kind of see where that guy's coming out now. That is the Main Street Donuts building, and it used to be the Hostess discount bakery outlet store. I remember going in there a couple times a long time ago with my grandpa. He loved coming down here and getting all the discounted Hostess snack cakes and stuff, which was, close dated, outdated, a couple days outdated stuff. You could get there for really good deals. But that went out years ago, even before Hostess went out of business. Well, maybe that's when it closed, but either way, that's been several years ago now. Whereas Hostess went under, and a new company owned them and brought them back, or bought them and brought the brand back. But yes, the Steel Highway Rail Cam for the BNSF here in Ottumwa is right on the back of the Main Street Donuts building. And if you were to log into it right now, you could probably see me on the camera in the distance, because it's actually pointed this direction from the other way. I mean, essentially, we're looking at it, and it's looking at us right now. I don't know, that ladder might be blocking its view. So in just 4 days exactly, after today, it'll be 4 days until the beginning of the 2023 Midwest Old Threshers Reunion in Mount Pleasant. It's a 5-day event that happens every year in Mount Pleasant. It features trains, trolleys, that's mainly what I go for, but it's also just a lot of fun all the way around. Tractors, old traction engines, living history. There's a log village you can go down, and there's reenactors, volunteers that reenact pioneer life, and there's an old west town, and they have, gunslinger shows and just a bunch of stuff like that. There's a lot of food, just a lot of entertainment, grandstand entertainment, country music shows. There's arts and crafts, antiques. I mean, you name it. It's a lot of fun, and it's coming up in 4 days. It starts this Thursday, August 31st, is the first day of the 2023 Old Threshers Reunion in Mount Pleasant. And I will be there. I'm planning on being there all 5 days this year. And I probably won't stay, you know, the entire day, all 5 days, but I'll be there at least parts of the day, all 5 days. Well, that's neat, Dakota Plays 3. He said that this is cool. This is the power of YouTube and the power of, you know, sharing your hobbies. And that just is really, it really makes me feel good to know that my videos actually, you know, impact other people and inspire people to do things with trains. I think that's really cool. He said that he joined Midwest Central last year for Haunted Rails, and he found out about Midwest Central through my Haunted Rails video that I put up several years ago. That is really cool. And that's how it is. I mean, we are all inspired in one way or another to, you know, pursue certain aspects of this hobby. Of course, I got started with trains essentially when I was born. My mom was a rail fan before me, and she passed it on to me. She had me watching trains and watching Thomas the Tank Engine. Of course, back then, he was featured on a show called Shining Time Station. And that really got me into trains. You know, my mom's influence and then Shining Time Station. That's what got me hooked on trains. And the rest is history. But as far as videography goes, of filming trains, my real inspiration for filming trains also was something that I watched when I was very young. It was a video series called America by Rail. A lot of you guys from the 90s probably remember it. The original episode of America by Rail, called The Heartland, my mom got me that for my birthday in 1994 when it first came out, and I just loved it. I watched it over and over and over again, and over the years that video inspired me to start, I mean, kind of unintentionally inspired me to start coming out and taking video of trains. So I credit America by Rail for my videography of trains, and it's really come a long ways in the past almost 18 years I've been filming trains regularly. And I've done a lot with my videography, starting the YouTube channel and everything else. I mean, we are all inspired to do what we do with this hobby in one way or another, and I think my job is to inspire somebody else, the next generation. And then they will go and do great things with this hobby, and then they'll inspire the next generation to do stuff with this hobby. So it's really important to share your hobby with other people, whether it's making YouTube videos or participating in, you know, model train clubs, or, you know, building trains, building model trains, or, you know, something to do to share your hobby. And it makes a huge difference in somebody else's life, and it changes their life forever. And, you know, they go off to do great things with trains just because of something you did that inspired them. So it's really makes me happy to know that I'm inspiring other people to love trains with what I'm doing out here. So with that, we've got our next train coming. This is train number 3, another westbound BNSF train, as we watch here from McLean Street. Then after that, it'll probably be Amtrak time. So we're going to enjoy this train and strategize on what we're going to do next here in the next couple of minutes. And no matter how many times that an engineer gives you a horn salute, if you're not expecting it, you jump. I've been doing this for years, and it still gets me, so. I know what some of you guys are thinking. That rookie not bracing himself for the horn. Getting a horn salute through here is always a treat on the BNSF. Of course, that horn, the K5LLA, that is if you're not expecting that, that'll knock you right out of your socks. Well, we got a treat on the end of this train. An old SD70 Mac. You don't see many of those anymore, and that is actually one of the upgraded SD70 Macs that BNSF overhauled. SD70 Mac E or SD70 Mace, however you want to go about wording that. All right, so Amtrak is, let's see. Let's see. 30 minutes. 5 is leaving Mount Pleasant, 6:44. And it is 7:14. So it sounds like the southbound CPKC train is having some PTC issues. Well, since Amtrak is getting close, we probably will not go to the other side of the station and see it come in. We will probably just get ready somewhere and see it depart. That's interesting.
8756 west, reporting clear on track 4374-21 between 18
Okay.
on westbound control signal IC railroad crossing. 1916 1916, is that correct? All correct on everything? Yes, 3905, that's correct. The lead unit, KCS 3905 is now rested. You need to contact dispatch to arrange the next procedure.
Well, it sounds like that CPKC train is an oil train. It is an oil train, which we determined that earlier, but it sounds like they're running without PTC, which I didn't even know that was allowed for a crude oil train, but...
Yeah, KCS 3905, you need to contact dispatch to arrange next steps. KCS 3905 is to remain somewhat up. It cannot run PTC, it cannot run PTC.
All right, we'll talk a little more about this interesting issue when I get the tripod in and we get rolling. But it sounds like I can kind of sort of hear them on the fringe, so they may be getting close to town. So we might be able to see them before the stream ends. We'll see here. Well, so it sounds like that oil train coming down does not have PTC enabled, and they're only going to go so far as Ottumwa. And I wonder if the northbound CPKC train we heard them talking about, I wonder if that one is going to loan one of its engines to that oil train so they can continue. Because like I guessed, there's probably, I mean, you really can't run an oil train very far without PTC. So sounds like they had permission to run it to Ottumwa, but not further than that. So we'll see. We may or may not get that train. But even if we don't, I mean, Amtrak will be our 4th train of the night, and it's only been an hour. That is very good. To get 4 trains in an hour here in Ottumwa. And in the past, during these live streams, sometimes we haven't gotten much on the BNSF for whatever reason besides Amtrak. So it's all been BNSF so far tonight, and nothing wrong with that. Pretty decent variety on these trains too. We had SD70 ACE on the 2nd and 3rd trains. First train we had an ES44 AC leading. On the first train we had a CP locomotive and the lash up on the back as a DPU. And on our last train that we saw, we had a overhauled BNSF SD70 Mac on the end of the train. It's a real treat to see those engines leading nowadays, and it's so weird to say that because at one time, the SD70 Mac was so common. I mean, it was on pretty much every coal train. And even when I first started filming trains, the first, several years, I was filming trains, you'd see SD70 Max on practically every train. And it was unusual to see the new engines because they were so new, there weren't very many of them. And now it's completely reversed. And for a time, BNSF actually had a lot of those SD70 Max stored, and they ended up getting them back out again. All right, so we are going to just stay put right here and get kind of a in the car view of Amtrak as it goes by. Get our camera set up here and get it turned right. There we go. And we'll get a better view of Amtrak as it's departing on the other side of the station. So the action that we've had so far tonight, we had a westbound BNSF coal train over on the east side of Green Street, and then we had a westbound or eastbound full coal train at Gateway Drive, and then another westbound BNSF coal train at McLean Street. And now we are just on the west side of Market Street, in between the Market Street crossing and the Amtrak station, waiting for Amtrak's California Zephyr. It is 7:22. The train is, well, if it comes in now, it'll be 30 minutes late. So if it does, it'll make up a little of the time that it lost. It was running about 45 minutes late. But there is a significant amount of padding between Mount Pleasant and here. I mean, I think the schedule actually calls for about an hour's worth of time between Mount Pleasant and here, when normally, if nothing's holding up the train, it could get here from Mount Pleasant within 30 minutes. There's been a lot of times that Amtrak has left Mount Pleasant on time and has pulled into Ottumwa around 6:30, which is a good 23 minutes early. And as we hear the crossing gates coming down, we have Amtrak's California Zephyr approaching the Ottumwa station. We'll see it go by here, then we'll jump ahead and go down to Gateway Drive and see it depart. Pulling into the station, just 31 minutes late. I say just 31 minutes because for Amtrak, that's not bad.
Make it 25 on arrival, 25 for number 5.
All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and jump back down to Gateway Drive and see him depart. And we may or may not see where that CPKC train is real quick, and then we'll probably wrap it up. But not yet. We still got a little ways to go, and it's been a pretty busy evening. I mean, there have been streams that I've done here in Ottumwa where I've only seen a couple trains in 3 hours or more. It's just been a little over an hour, and we've already seen 4 trains. That's how it is, rail fanning. I mean, you either get, it's like feast or famine. You either get a lot, or very little, or nothing. It just, it's just hit or miss. The only train you can really count on is Amtrak, because they run on a schedule, and you can pinpoint where they're going to be because you can track them, even when they're late. Freight trains, it's hit or miss. They can show up at any time. You might get a lot, you might get nothing. But we've gotten a lot tonight. And because they're working on the station platforms, the train pulls up a lot further than they normally do. I can see as we come up to the stop sign here at Turner and Wapello, there's the engines. And they're not usually out that far. So we're going to pull into the little parking area here by Plum Supply, where we made our crazy U-ey to get that eastbound train earlier. And we'll go set up and watch the train leave. All right. This time I'll actually put the camera on the tripod to begin with. So we can just run right out. There's a lot of toning up on the CPKC frequency, so maybe we'll see that train before we end stream tonight. We'll see. So welcome everybody tuning into the stream. 26 people right now. That's pretty good. Thanks guys. And the railroad's been putting on a show tonight for us. All right, we're gonna go sideways here for a moment. And out we go. It is a nice night. It's almost cool in a way. I mean, it's refreshing. Very nice night. Raise up the tripod a little here.
Drivers answering Rutledge Tower. Going on over. Yeah, got it. Ready on the head end. You have 2 working marker lights. Alright, 2 markers up. Sure. Buddy, whistle off.
All right, that's their warning whistle for everybody on the platform to get back on the train. Ottumwa is a fresh air stop for the Zephyr, the second one from Chicago. So everybody gets off the train for stretch their legs and before they get going again.
Coaches are secure.
Alright, I'll secure Amtrak 5 with high ball. Ottumwa initiating moving over. Amtrak 5 departing Ottumwa initiating movement. 2531. 2531 out. And I forgot to tell you, Don, 37423, 1705 guys. Okay. 423. And I've got the one for the other side, too. I'm ready. 729-59, Halpin to 3818, main one. 39, 3818, main one, over. Dash 5959, sorry. 59, that's what I got. Roger, that's all correct.
And with that, Amtrak's California Zephyr is clear of the Ottumwa station, heading towards its next stop in Osceola, about an hour from now. Safe travels, Zephyr. Yeah, there is another guy that Mark just mentioned. There is a guy, his name, I think coincidentally, is Mark. Don't remember the name of his YouTube channel, but he goes out and films the Zephyr almost every day and puts it up on YouTube, and has a pretty decent following. Gets a lot of hits on his videos every day, so. He's out in Fort Morgan, which is the last stop before Denver in Colorado. Mike, yeah, Mark, you're right, it's Mike.
Hey, John, can you find me a bottle of Windex for Osceola?
Mike Jansen, I think is his name. But I watched some of his videos, so I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about if I get it wrong. All right, put the camera in real quick. And we'll be right back. All right. It is 7:35. Oh, that's the wrong cord. Here we go. Now, we'll give it about 20 more minutes before we end the stream. So we might jump on over to the CPKC to see if anything's going on. Might drive out there really quick. Maybe drive up Rutledge Hill and see if there's anything going on out there. See if the train's within sight. And If not, we will go from there. But either way, regardless, we've gotten 4 trains tonight. I almost don't want to leave the BNSF in case something else comes up, but as I was just saying, whatever happens, we've gotten 4 trains tonight, and that's pretty good. So we're going to go on up Rutledge Hill, maybe go along the, kind of follow the tracks up as best as we can. Just to make sure that, and yes, to go to place 3, I would say that for an hour,
150 west, reporting clear on chart 4374-23 between CCP 725 westbound control signal ICD railroad crossing 1937. 1937 is our correct.
yeah, for our live streams, that is close to a record, I would say, because yeah, the first yeah, sorry, a lot of stuff going on the fringe here of our radio, so seems like every time you're trying to speak, it does that, but that's okay. As I was all right, I just heard the CPKC dispatcher say on signal indication. So I don't know if that means this train. The signal here at Lawler is still red, so northbound somewhere. Maybe, shoot, it might be the, I don't think I'd be able to hear them. That train that I saw go north through Washington hours ago, no way you can hear the dispatcher from that radio.
Then I get you guys an after the arrival, but as info, you are there's gonna be 2 of them, but one's already cleared up in the siding. The after the arrival, only have 1.
Huh, I wonder if they... Now, driving up here, we are notorious for losing our internet signal, so just bear with me.
You guys pull up, one will leave, the other will pull in the siding. Track warrant number 5035, total line check 392, 720,
Okay, so it sounds like, which this makes sense, it sounds like that they're running that northbound train first, and the southbound must either be... Yes, A train just answered my question. They're meeting the northbound, or excuse me, the northbound is meeting two southbounds at Linby. So the train we might get is a northbound. So if I want to get it, we're probably going to turn around and go back. And I'm very surprised, hello, very surprised that we have not lost internet yet. And every time I make a sharp turn, my tripod, which is sitting here by the seat, goes rolling. And that's what caused the air conditioner in the car to go up suddenly.
Yeah, your radio cut out just after you read the track warrant number.
Alright, this is where you lose the...
Yep, cut out right after you said 5035, over.
That's it.
Track warrant number 5035, total line 392, 720, okay, 1944, That's correct.
Now, I would like to get the train right here, but I know that there's known internet issues up here, so we're probably going to go on down. Now, something unfortunate that we will talk about is that, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big fan of these old searchlight signals that you still see up here. And they are finally, unfortunately, they are finally on their way towards being replaced. Here on the south end of the Rutledge siding, the southward facing signals, they have new signals up and turned. They'll be cutting in pretty soon. The northbound signal doesn't have a new signal by it yet, but all right, there's a lot of panel track out there. I don't know what all they're doing, but okay, we're gonna go back.
Track number 5036, 5036, dated August 26,
Yeah, so the train that we might get is a northbound out of Ottumwa, not the southbound. And the southbound with the KCSM leader is still in Linby, so it's not going to come through here until after dark. So we're going to get this next train and call it good for tonight. But hey, 5 trains in less than an hour and a half is very good for around here. As I was saying, before all of the communication on the CPKC radio, the best I've done in live stream so far as train count, was a few live streams back. 6 trains in 2 hours here in Ottumwa. And that was a really good variety of trains. So we're going to drop back down the hill, and hopefully we do not miss the train as we go down, because the northbound facing signal at the south siding switch Rutledge was already green, so the dispatcher has the train lined up. all this radio communication, they might not say much before they start up the hill. But again, like I was saying earlier, when that one train came up on us really quick, it's nice to be doing these live streams. You've got the tape already rolling in a sense. So if you almost miss a train, you'll still get it because the footage is already rolling. And it's strange to me that every time I try to talk, the CPKC talks over me. Anyways, it is strange to me that all of this weaving up and down Rutledge Hill. It's amazing that the only place that I lose cell phone signal is at the top of Rutledge Hill, just in that one area. It's weird. And yet I can go weaving up and down this hill and all the hills and trees, and the signal doesn't go out. Go figure. But we're coming back down here towards the, we're on Caldwell Street now. We're going to get back on West 2nd Street and see if we can intercept the train from there. Hopefully they haven't gotten that far yet. Now the other steel highway rail cam here in Ottumwa is on the little red building that we just went by to our left, positioned on the CPKC. So it's really nice. You can monitor the rail activity in Ottumwa on both lines. As A-Train just commented, the signal does get pretty weak up there, which is why I didn't stay up there, because I knew that it would not be a very good picture. I got a train up there once, but I went back and watched the stream afterwards, and the signal, the picture just was not that great up there, which is unfortunate because it's a really good place to watch trains, but just cell coverage just isn't the greatest up there. Okay, so let's see. I think I'll probably just stay in this area for the train. Might actually park up here at the old trolley barn and get it very careful that I don't pop a tire. Alright, we'll just kind of sit here for a minute and see if the train is actually in motion yet. They've got their warrant, so I wouldn't think it'd be much longer. So before the train gets here, if we can determine whether it's coming or not, quick preview on my next productions that I'm working on right now, my full-fledged feature-length programs that I create using my actual video camera. The next one I'm working on is across the Iowa Interstate 3. I'm working on the preliminary work on that one, doing the editing of screenshots and stuff like that, some prep work. And I'll probably be working on that one through September, after the old Threshers reunion. So probably not going to get much further than just the preliminary, prep work on that video, and I'll get it done at the end of middle to the end of September. And then after that, it'll be the Old Threshers video from this year, which clearly I haven't gotten yet because the Old Threshers reunion hasn't started yet. But afterwards, all the video that I take at Old Threshers, I will assemble into a video of some kind. It's usually about an hour, hour and 15 minutes long. And that'll be the next video. And then after that, it's just kind of a clean slate. I've gotten caught up on all the videos that I've wanted to make, and then I'll just be able to grab from whatever footage I have and make new videos, just pretty much whatever I feel like making at that time. There are a lot of videos that I could make that I have all the footage for. I just haven't, got around to making them. So, I mean, it will not be hard for me to decide on a new video to make when I get to that point. So, we're here waiting for a CPKC train. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it or not. A train just mentioned, it depends on if BNSF gives them the light, which that will be the determining factor. Now, this building that we are next to, which is just on our left here, you can see some of the roll-up doors. It has a very interesting history. Actually, train history, if you can believe it. Ottumwa actually used to have a streetcar. Not just a streetcar, an entire network of streetcar lines in Ottumwa, believe it or not. And it was there through, the late 1800s through the very early 1900s. I think maybe they stopped, they ended operation of the Ottumwa Electric, I don't remember what it was called, Ottumwa Electric Railways or something like that. It was like 1920. It was really early, like in the 20s when they stopped running streetcars. But Ottumwa had them. It was a very extensive network of lines. And this building with the roll-up doors, I actually have seen some old photographs of when it was the car barn for the Ottumwa streetcar system. The streetcars would go in those little, those roll-up bays. There'd be all these tracks for the trains to go in on. And there was a bunch of tracks diverging here, and they would go down 2nd Street, and there'd be a bunch of different lines to get on. There was one that would go on the south side of Ottumwa, one that actually went up Court Hill, which is a very steep hill. The streetcars went up there, and of course they went through downtown, and they went out to the east side of town. I mean, it was amazing that Ottumwa actually had that at one time. And this is it. This is the old car barn where the trolleys were stored. Of course, this building it's really in bad shape. It's probably going to fall in before long, but pretty amazing what was here at one time. Hey, welcome, Kirk. We've seen 4 trains tonight. 3 BNSF freights and Amtrak. And we might be seeing a CPKC train, although it looks like we may not. I mean, I haven't heard the train approaching. I haven't heard him whistling at Quincy Avenue across the river yet or not, so we may not get this train. If it doesn't come here pretty quick, we're probably going to wrap things up, but it's been a very busy hour and 40 minutes, hour and 38 minutes. But yes, as A-Train mentioned, it would be, and I've thought about this before, it'd be really neat. Of course, it probably wouldn't fly here in Ottumwa because I don't know how many rail fans are really around here, but actually there's more than I realized probably. But it'd be neat if there would be like a rail park, kind of like Rochelle, Illinois, right here at the Diamond, so you can get all the movements on BNSF and the CPKC. And this would be a good location for it. Well, I'm guessing there probably aren't any eastbounds. I wonder if BNSF has a westbound train lined up. Yeah. We'll hear if they're approaching, and we'll double back if we need to, but yeah, Mark, this did turn out to be a great video. Either way, if this train really isn't coming and we miss it right when we go off the air, it doesn't really matter because we got a really good stream tonight. And there is the front of the old trolley barn here in Ottumwa. It's amazing that there were actually streetcars here in Ottumwa at one time, but there was. And I've seen pictures. I mean, I've seen pictures of the old line, the trolleys, and pictures of the old car barn when it was actually used for the streetcars. Hard to believe. And you know, you think about today, if somehow those streetcars survive to the present day, which, you know, they probably wouldn't have anyway, but even if they had, I mean, they would be an incredible resource now. I mean, it would be a great way for people to get around this town. Not to mention, it's very clean. I mean, it's, you know, obviously the streetcars themselves don't put out any emissions. I mean, the power, I'm sure, is, you know, comes from a coal-fired plant, but I mean, the vehicles themselves are very clean, and they're quick, and they're safe. I mean, if the streetcars still existed in Ottumwa, they would be, not only would they be a great way to get around the city, but they'd also be a tourist attraction. And I know from when they did work downtown, and it might be true everywhere, I'm not sure, but when they resurfaced these roads, they didn't take out, I mean, as far as I know. Oh, we have crossing gates going down. I wonder if this is an eastbound or a westbound. I hope it's an eastbound. It must be. Okay, one more train, and then we're calling it quits for tonight. And I don't know what this train is, so we're gonna go ahead and hop on down to Gateway Drive and get this train. And we're probably going to do the same loop-de-loop maneuver if we can get down there before the gates come down. Although right now we're going to be first in line, so I might just kind of ease on up to the crossing and see what we can do here. Perfect. I have no idea what this is, so this might be good. It's our last train of the night. Hey, whatever happens, we've gotten 5 trains tonight, so it's been a really good stream. So here we go. Our final train of the night. Looks like we got 2 engines on the back here. Cool. Very cool. And the signals are all red down there at the diamond now, so I'm sure that CPKC train will be probably starting to go now. But regardless, we got a lot of good stuff tonight. So it's been a very good night on the railroad. And at one point, there were 29 people watching the stream tonight. That might be a new record. It's been pretty decent the whole stream. So thanks guys for joining in. So the next thing that you probably can expect from the live streams and from productions of any kind, except for some shorts videos, which I've been starting to upload. Just started getting into uploading some shorts videos. Just, you know, random things here and there. Seem to be getting a pretty good reception on those. So if you ever are frequenting the YouTube shorts, check out those videos. It's kind of YouTube's version of Facebook Reels and TikTok. I mean, they're very short videos, but they're kind of interesting medium. So I'm kind of doing 3 different things now. I'm doing normal video uploads, which I've always been doing, and these live streams and shorts. It's a lot of fun doing these. The live streams are really fun. I like doing these. I know you guys enjoy them too. So apart from the shorts, the next big thing you can expect out of me as far as production-wise, live streams and whatnot, is the Old Threshers reunion, which will be in 4 days from now. Nice night here in Ottumwa as we head across the Des Moines River on the Market Street Bridge. And as far as my big videos go, like I said, the next big video I'm going to make is across the Iowa Interstate 3. Expect that one sometime in September, probably close to the end of September when I finally get it done and released. And then Old Threshers from this year, after Old Threshers is over, I'll be working on that and releasing it. But like I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm probably going to edit my videos a little more gradually once I get to that point. So I have time to do other train things in the train time that I have. Definitely make sure to spend my time more wisely with balancing out train time with family time. So spacing out working on my bigger videos will help make sure I keep that balance up. I don't know what this guy, I don't even know if that's technically a space, but whatever. South side of Ottumwa. All right, so with that, guys, thanks for joining in tonight. We got 5 trains in just a little over an hour and a half. That's pretty good. So as the sun goes down, we're going to go ahead and end it here. So thanks for joining in, guys. Like, subscribe, look out for my shorts videos, my full-length videos, and all these live streams coming up in the future. And if I don't hear from you guys if I don't hear from you guys before then, look out to seeing you guys at Old Threshers. I'll be there, at least at some capacity, for all 5 days of reunion. So we'll look forward to seeing you all then. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end it here. Thanks for joining in tonight. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.